Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. All right, today's topic is when your friend thinks you're an ATM. Okay, here we go. Let's read this letter. I'm 24 years old, and my best friend of 12 years has started to ask me for money, and it's starting to annoy me. We have been friends since middle school. We met when we were 12 years old, and we've always been close and had a good friendship. We are still close friends, but recently she started to constantly ask me for money, and it's starting to get on my nerves. I got my first job at 17 and have been working ever since. I'm also in college studying psychology. But my friend doesn't work and has never had a job. And she also isn't in school or anything. So I'm not sure why she isn't working. Because that's not on her agenda. she's not she's not feeling that having a job is important to her at this time in her life. Okay? All right, here we go. Whenever we hang out, things are great. But if I want to go out and eat or just somewhere fun, I usually have to pay for both her and myself because she rarely ever has money to pay for herself. When me, my friend, and her cousin went out to eat, her cousin paid for her, which I was relieved because when we went out to eat again the next day, me and her cousin had to pay for ourselves and also split the bill for my friend because she had no money to pay. All right. Well, it shouldn't have been any news. All right. Here are a couple of times already that you mentioned she doesn't have any money. So when you invite her out, where do you think she's going to get money from? She doesn't have any. All right. So you expect to pay when you invite her out. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Usually, she would never ask me for money. She asked me for $20 like 4 years ago. Okay. So you meant usually prior to that, she didn't ask you for money. Maybe because she didn't feel like you had it then. But now she feels like you have it. And so that's why she asked you. All right. So you say she asked me for this $20 like 4 years ago, but hadn't asked me for anything until a few months ago when she started asking me if I had 10, 20, or $5 to send her. I've only given her $10 since, and that's it. But she still keeps randomly asking if I have a few bucks for her to borrow. Okay, now this is the first time you mentioned borrow in the letter. Has she actually paid you back for the other loans that you've given her? Has she even offered to pay you back? All right, now, the reason I say this, because I do know that friends would borrow money from each other, saying that, I'm going to pay you back. And when they pay them back in a timely fashion, everything is cool. All right? But if this friend never paid you back, well, then that's another thing. She's just taking advantage of you. Okay? All right, let's go on. 2 months ago, I wanted to go to Vegas, but didn't want to go alone. All right. So I asked if she wanted to go, and she agreed. Hell yeah, why not? A free trip to Vegas? Why wouldn't she agree? I paid for her ticket, there and back, of course, and also paid for our hotel. She didn't pay for anything, which I already expected. So then why are you talking about it? She doesn't have any money. Anytime that you want her company, you're going to have to pay. That's it. Okay? All right. While we were out at dinner, she was on the phone talking about meeting up with her friend who lives in Vegas so she could buy some weed, and mentioned her aunt gave her $50 and she's planned to spend 20 of it to buy weed. When I heard this, I paid for my meal and told her to pay for her meal and drink, which she cashed at me 20 to pay for her meal. I was happy she paid for herself, but I was kind of upset because I had not told her to pay for herself. Chances are she wouldn't have. And right after she sent the money, she called her aunt and asked her for more money. And the aunt told her she gave her what she had, which was the $50, and she shouldn't have spent it all. Okay, wait a minute, that was a lot. You got upset because she just went on and paid for it. I don't get it. I don't get, why would you get upset? I thought that's what you wanted her to do. Pay. Yeah, you got to make up your mind. Maybe with her depending on you financially, it makes you feel, you know what, I don't want to use the word superior to her, but makes you feel needed. Let's say that. Makes you feel needed. All right, there was a time in my life where I needed someone. And when I got in a jam, I knew I could always call this person, and this person would always come through. But, I was the type of person, I don't like to ask. I don't like to borrow. So it eats me until I can pay it back just as soon as possible. I'm not one of those people that will borrow from you and then act like I forgot about it. Okay? So every time I needed anything, this person was there for me. And when me and this person went out together, whatever, because I don't know, it was just a habit. She would pay. It was like there was no question of whether I could pay or not. She just paid. All right. And that went on for a while. And then after I came to a point in my life until I felt like I could make a decent salary. You understand? I can better myself. And I guess my self-confidence kind of was boosted. And there was a time that I didn't need the person anymore. And so time and time went on, and I was never asking the person to borrow anything or anything like that. And when we went out together, before she could say anything, I paid. You understand? I paid, and I paid for everyone. Well, as a result, the person got upset about it. Took it way out of proportion. And I believe it's because the person felt like somehow that she lost some kind of power. That's how I assessed it. Now, whether you feel that way or not, you need to look inside yourself and try to put your finger on, why was I upset when she paid for her own meal, her own drink? You should have took that opportunity and praised her and say, great, I'm hoping you can do that every time because I'm tired of paying. You see, you could have said it as a joke. You all just had dinner and laughed it off, but she would have got the message. You see, sometimes it's good to, deliver harsh information in a joke and laugh it off. Everybody, you understand? Like a joke, but at the right time. And sometimes it really pays off. Okay, but anywho, let's see what you did. Okay. After she hung up, she asked, how do you expect a grown woman to make $50 last 3 days? Okay, that was her attitude after she spoke to grandma, and grandma said, no, hell no. Okay, and I thought to myself, you could save $50 by not spending it on dumb stuff like weed. Well, to her, the weed wasn't dumb at all. This is her mindset working. This is how she's decided that she wants to live. And it's working for her so far. She doesn't have to work. She gets some money just coming in from all kinds of sources. For her, it's working. And as long as you are giving into that pot, you are enabling her to continue her lifestyle. She's not looking to change, or she would have changed already. Okay? And it's nothing that you're going to say or do to make her change. You can bring it up to her that, you tired of doing this, and it can end up in the separation of your friendship and everything. But she would have continued her pattern with other people. No lesson learned there. And you would have gone away angry because the friendship fell apart. You understand? When it's better ways of handling this sort of thing. All right, let's try to get on through this letter. Okay, let's get on through the Vegas stuff. All right, she's my friend of more than a decade. We've always been close. She's never mistreated me, and I know she isn't asking out of greed or trying to take advantage of me. This is her lifestyle that she has chosen to mooch off her friends. Okay? And whoever is around. I met a young woman one time, and she was like this. Now, this was a grown woman with a child that she's teaching this pattern to. And again, she didn't have a job, can't keep a job, didn't really want a job, but she finds people who are givers. And she comes with her sad story, and, will you please help me? I don't have this, I don't have that, or whatever. And, givers, we have bleeding hearts. So we want to give it, help people, that kind of thing. But when she says, I promise I'll give it back to you next week, tomorrow, next, whatever. Now, see, that's a lie. That's where, you understand, after a while, you see that she never intended to give. That's what she does. Then I found out she's left a trail of this pattern everywhere she goes, and she hops to states from state to state. Everywhere she goes, this is her pattern, living off of people. These people are like the energy vampires, because your money is energy. And they come to suck you dry as long as you keep giving. So that's what it sounds like. You're not helping your friend. You are enabling her lifestyle. All right, let's see. You say, I don't know how to tell her that she needs to stop asking me for money, and that she needs to get off her behind and get some motion about herself. Like even a part-time job. So, like I told you, don't waste your breath telling your friend she needs a job or she's going to get a job. Scratch that. You wasting time with that. She's not listening to that. She knows a job is out there if she wants one. It's not about that. This is what she has chosen. For you, just be plain with her. Listen, we've been friends for a long time. I really care for you, but I'm not going to give you any more money. How's she going to take that? And leave it. Don't come back and try to explain yourself and how you feel about that or talk about anything. Make that statement and stick to it. Now, Your friend won't ask you for money, but that doesn't mean if she wants to hang out with you before you even get to the restaurant, you might want to say you're going to have to pay for yourself. Can you afford this? But I would not invite her when I went to places that required to pay anything. I wouldn't invite her to go. And you got to get over not wanting to be alone. You know, you mentioned that, and that was a drawback right there. If you got to have somebody to hold your hand wherever you go, you're going to be messed up for a long time. Because even if you find a man, he'll do the same thing this woman doing to you. And he'll hurt your feelings. You kind of needy. You need to strengthen yourself and be more confident. And when you decide you want to go places, step outside your comfort zone and go for the first time by yourself. And you'll be surprised. You'll meet other people who are traveling by themselves. And, you know, you'll hook up with new friends and things like that. You'll be surprised. It's not that scary traveling alone. All right. Of course, you want to be safe and all of that. And you would, even if you went with a friend. But do not invite a friend out when you know you have to pay. I think that's cruel for you to even do that to a person that you know doesn't have money. That's why I said before, it may be doing something for you, for your self-esteem, making you feel kind of big because you're able to pay, because you keep dragging her to these places that cost a lot of money. Going to Vegas and back, that's not cheap. And a hotel and all of that and food, all of that. That's not a cheap trip. You understand? But you did it. But now you're saying that you're tired of doing it. Are you really tired of doing it? You got to think about it. Because remember, you were the one that said you were upset when she finally paid. Just, you know, what I'm saying is just kind of go within yourself and see what it is that you really want out of this friendship, if anything. If anything. You know, if you don't mind paying for your friend to be with you, then you should do it. Continue doing it. But if it really bothers you, cut it off. You can't make your friend get a job so she can pay her own and make you feel comfortable. She's not going to listen to you. In fact, she'll get angry if you keep bugging her about it. You understand? Now, you know, one other point I wanted to make here, and not saying that it's true, but think about this. Maybe this friend has hung on to you for decades, like you say, because you pay. Think about that. You see? You hang on to her because it's something that she's bringing to the table that you enjoy. She's hanging on to you because you're providing something that she can't provide for herself. You see, it's kind of a perfect combination, but you've gotten tired of providing. You see? Now, don't be surprised if and when you cut her off. Now she's going to be mad and she's going to storm off and the friendship is over. Okay, don't be surprised. That just lets you know she was only with you to provide. All right? So I really hope that you understand this message today. And I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.